In this edition of Meet Your Public Official, WBON TV is here to talk to Madison County Coroner Jimmy Cornelison. We found out all the ins and outs of his job, which may surprise a lot of people. He also told us about a hobby that he's been doing since he was 11. We'll tell you all about it.
Lulatee's Boutique is now open in Irvine. Ladies, you'll love the selection of tops, pants, dresses, and accessories, plus the latest in Simply Southern apparel. At Lulatee's, they have a huge selection of bath bombs, soaps, and other bath products. Lulatee's Boutique on Main Street in Irvine, or on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely, I am from Madison County, and proud to be. I was born in Bybee, Kentucky. My family owned a business called Bybee Pottery. I was the 6th generation of my family to work in there and made pottery there. In fact, made a little pottery this morning. I graduated from Waco Junior High School, Madison Central High School, at which time I was smarter than everybody else, so I enlisted in the Army, and much to the disagreement of my parents, was sent to Germany. Didn't like it, volunteered to go to Vietnam, and of course they took me. People confuse coroner and funeral directors. A lot of coroners are funeral directors. I'm not. I always tell people it was like the military for me. I knew what it was when I asked for it, okay? Manner and cause of death. That is what the coroner does, manner and cause. What caused their death? Is it a homicide, suicide, accidental death? What is it? The people you deal with, the survivors, the family members, they're all different too. So the questions they ask, the things that they're concerned about, the things I can help them with, you know, it's not nice, it's not good. There's nothing normal about knocking on somebody's door at 2 o'clock in the morning and telling them somebody's dead. You know, there were situations where, would it break your heart? Absolutely. You know, and anybody who thinks that, and I tell this to people all the time, that when you go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning at EMS, you flip a switch on. 7 o'clock the next morning, when you leave, you flip that switch off. That's absurd. You think about what you've done the night before, the day before, or if you've done anything at all. You get to know people, and if you can help them, it's very, very rewarding. You know, it always amazed me sometimes when you would be on a case and you think, on a call, and you think everything's going good, and all of a sudden the patient goes sour and end up dying, and you think, I'm getting out of this. And then the next day you pick up somebody who should have died, and you kept them alive, and they're still alive today. You pass them on the street, and they'll say, "This guy that saved my life," and that happened to me several times. One gentleman in particular that I'll never forget. And then I rule upon, you know, is it a homicide? Is it a suicide? Is it an accidental death? Do I need an autopsy, or do I need just do a drug screen? People get upset sometimes when I order an autopsy, okay? If I can't sign your death certificate with a clear thought in my mind that I haven't missed something, then I'm going to have an autopsy. I don't like them. I don't ask for many of them. There are some that are automatic. If you're in police custody or an infant child or something like that, I'm going to do an autopsy because I don't know. And I like that part. I like cold cases. I like working on cold cases and stuff like that. I do have a cold case that I did dig someone up. As a matter of fact, there's a tombstone right over there that says Madison Man 1993. It was a gentleman that we found deceased up on a mountain with no hands, no ID, bag over his head. Was ruled a suicide after the autopsy. I was a deputy coroner at the time. I couldn't stand it. So when I became coroner, I was talking to a state police detective just before I became coroner, and he said, "Well, that's eating you up," and I said, "It is." And he said, "Well, I'll tell you what." He said, "If you become coroner, you reopen the case, you dig him up, I'll reopen the case." We took the body up, took the body back to Frankfurt, who a physician there had done an autopsy before, and ruled it a suicide. I told him it just couldn't happen this way. Dr. Emily Craig, world-renowned forensic anthropologist, was looking at the body parts and stuff like that and kept telling me, "Oh, you don't have anything here, Mr. Coroner, but because it's you, I'm going to do this." So they do another test. She told me that 2 or 3 times. She said, "But now we're going to look at this bone underneath the microscope. She looked underneath it and she said, "You've got a homicide." And I said, "I've told you all that for 7 years." To tell you the honest truth, it's kind of still an open case. And I always tell people it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. This job is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. People I don't think understand that. You know, I had a daughter that's a tremendous athlete at Madison Central and was a leading scorer when they went to the state tournament for the first time. And there were games during that year that I missed because I was working. But my family always understood that. It's a big job. And it's gotten bigger. When I first started, it was nothing like what it is now. But I mean, we're constantly, either if it's not involved with the death, it's involving a previous death, paperwork, cremations now. The coroner's office has to sign for everybody to be cremated. You know, in church, it's funny when I stand up because my phone will vibrate and I look at it and I can look and I know it's 911 calling me. And I think it distracts from the preacher because everybody's looking at me thinking, where's he going?
Stay tuned for the next part of our series. For WBON TV, I'm Marissa Hempel.